Hey there, Dr. Colleen and Dr. Marc from Lifetime Wellness. Welcome to Live at 7:05. We made it at 7:05 this time.
On the dot.
Yeah. So tonight we are going to address something that we've answered over the years, that we've worked people through over the years in our coaching protocols and our care protocols, and that is the idea of motion. So if you've been with us any length of time, you know we have a saying that is motion is life. So what kind of motion? Almost all kinds of motion. We need to be moving our bodies daily, and that can encompass anything from cardiovascular endurance type activity, which has its benefits, to high intensity, resistance training, strength challenge, burst training, flexibility, agility training. All sorts of motion brings a different type of benefit to the table. So we're big fans of teaching people how to create a variety and how to strategize different types of motion over time to really stimulate their bodies to respond the best to that.
How to be a mover.
For life. And the saying, move it or lose it, we've seen that play out so many times with people who, for whatever reason, chose to stop moving or never really got started with their motion, but it would behoove us to keep moving in any way we can for the rest of our life. And Dr. Marc is going to talk about exactly why that is so important and the most important type of motion that we can begin to incorporate. I'll be over here if you have questions, type them up.
So yeah, it's literally when you stop moving, that's when you start dying. So we need to stay mobile our whole life. But in this video, we're going to address really what I consider one of the best kept secrets, really not best kept secret, but a little known secret about chiropractic. And it's something that I explain to every new patient that comes in for chiropractic care, whether they're brand new to chiropractic or they've been seeing a chiropractor their whole lives, because what I find is most people have never heard this before, and it really explains a lot of the success behind chiropractic and how it helps so many things beyond just pain. So I'm basically just going to go through what I explain to people, and I've got the whiteboard here with some words and phrases that I'll explain as we move along. But the first thing to understand, and so overall we're talking about motion, but we're also talking about how that applies with chiropractic care and how we get such good results, but why it's so critical, especially when it comes to motion in the spine. So first of all, chiropractic's not just about your back. We don't just take care of back pain and neck pain. Chiropractic is really about you as a whole person, but more specifically, it's more about your brain than it is pain. So a couple important things to know about your spine. Number one, the reason that we need a healthy spine and we need a strong, stable spine is first and foremost because it protects and houses the central nervous system. So the spinal cord that runs the length down your spine is an extension of your brain. So think of that as actually brain tissue running down your back. Hopefully that alone will get you to think a little bit more about the importance of your back and keeping it healthy. So that's why we need a good straight spine. From the side, it should have 3 distinct arcs or curves. That's really what gives the spine strength, like a spring. And it's also the shape of the spinal cord, so it's nice and relaxed. A lot of people talk about having a pinched nerve. Well, what's worse than pinching a nerve is actually stretching a nerve. And that happens when we add additional curves to the spine, or more commonly, we lose those proper curves. Everybody's walking around now with text neck, they're going head first everywhere, everybody's lost their cervical curve. That actually stretches your entire spinal cord. So that causes a lot of stress on the nervous system. So we need that's where the good alignment comes in, good healthy posture, good alignment of the spine. But really one of the most important functions of your spine is it was designed to move. That's why there's 24 vertebrae stacked so that your spine has massive amount of movement. And so this is where it gets really cool and interesting, because your spine, more so than anywhere else in the body, is loaded with these special nerve endings that when your spine moves, and it moves properly, it charges the battery. It sends a really healthy signal to the brain. It's called proprioception. So proprioception is movement neurology, and it's like brain food. So when your spine moves properly and you move it, you charge the battery, and proprioception really drives your brain towards growth, repair, healing, homeostasis, and balance. Really good, normal function. So that's why when we start adjusting people, it helps their brain work better, and it helps so many things beyond just pain. So here's where the issue can go awry. When the spine can get injured, or we develop bad posture patterns, or we've had trauma, just working hard, playing hard, all the things in life, we can develop misalignments in the spine known as subluxations. So that's the chiropractic gig, that's our baby, that's all we do. So a subluxation in the spine is an area that there can be a misalignment, there can be a loss of a curve, but generally those areas get stuck or fixated. They don't move well anymore. Sometimes they don't move at all. Sometimes people notice that and they want to kind of pop or snap their own spine or twist. A lot of times you won't feel it. But here's what happens. So when we have a subluxation, that area doesn't move anymore. So we're not generating that healthy proprioceptive signal, and now we generate a different signal that's called nociception. So think of this: proprioception, P is positive, nociception, the N is negative or noxious. So now we have more of a negative signal going to the brain that drives your brain away from growth, repair, and healing and homeostasis into more stress physiology. Think of it like fight or flight response. So now it could be on the minor side, it could be more on the major side, it could also become chronic. So when we move into fight or flight mode with our central nervous system, we can see changes like increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, increased respiration, decreased digestion, decreased elimination, decrease in things like reproductive or fertility, decrease in immune function. So now we understand.
Focus, attention.
Yeah, the list goes on and on. If you're in fight or flight, there's just your body's hardwired to downregulate certain functions because they're not going to save your life in the moment, and there's other things that get upregulated as a response to stress. So if you're in that state for long periods of time because your spine is off, now we understand why we start adjusting people. Digestion improves, allergies improve, couples get pregnant, kids start pooping, things like that aren't about the back, but it's about proper function of the brain. So these two signals are really important to understand. This is how you're hardwired. This is how your body works every single day. And you get the best out of your brain when your spine is moving properly and you intentionally move it. So, we really stress to people, don't just think about getting adjusted or getting your spine checked when you hurt. By that time, there's already a problem. Think about getting your spine checked and adjusted more so for your brain, not just for pain. Anything you want to add, Dr. Colleen?
No, you just nailed it. I want to make sure people aren't waiting until they hurt.
So it's all about proprioception. Proprioception drives good brain function. What is proprioception? It's movement, neurology. Most of that comes from your spine. The next most populated joint is your hip socket, and then your ankle joint. So think about all those sitters who sit at a desk all day. Their spine doesn't move, their hips don't move, and their ankles don't move, and they wonder why they're totally brain dead by the afternoon. But then guess what happens? When they go home, they go for a walk, they go for a ride their bike, boom, they're energized again because of motion. Motion is life. Most of the motion comes from your spine. Good?
That's it. That's good.
We'll catch you next time. Leave some comments, share this, do all that wonderful stuff.